Day 175, Divided Kingdom, 2 Kings 6-7, Hosea 4-7, Psalm 102. Let's begin. 2 Kings 6-7. Now the sons of the prophets said to Elisha, Behold, the place in which we live before you is too narrow for us. Let us go as far as the Jordan, and let us each take from the forest a piece of timber, so that we may build for ourselves a place to live there. And he said, Go. And one of them said, Then you, too, should go with your servants. And he answered, I will go. And he went with them. And when they had arrived at the Jordan, they were cutting down wood. Then it happened that, while someone was cutting timber, the iron of the axe fell into the water. And he cried out and said, Alas, 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 my Lord! For this thing was borrowed. Then the man of God said, Where did it fall? And he indicated to him the place. Then he cut off a piece of wood, and he threw it in. And the iron floated up. And he said, Take it. And he extended his hand, and took it. Now the king of Syria was fighting against Israel, and he took counsel with his servants, saying, In this and that place, let us set up an ambush. And so the man of God sent to the king of Israel, saying, Take care not to pass by that place. For the Syrians are there in ambush. And so the king of Israel sent to the place which the man of God had told him, and he prevented it. And he preserved himself, concerning that place, not merely once or twice. And the heart of the king of Syria was disturbed over this matter. And calling together his servants, he said, Why have you not revealed to me the one who is betraying me to the king of Israel? And one of his servants said, By no means, my lord the king. Rather it is the prophet Elisha, who is in Israel, who is revealing to the king of Israel every word whatsoever that you will speak in your conclave. And he said to them, Go, and see where he is, so that I may send and capture him. And they reported to him, saying, Behold, he is in Dothan. Therefore, he sent horses, and chariots, and experienced soldiers to that place. And when they had arrived in the night, they encircled the city. Now the servant of the man of God, arising at first light, went out and saw the army all around the city, with horses and chariots. And he reported it to him, saying, Alas, 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 my lord! What shall we do? But he responded, Do not be afraid. For there are more with us than with them. And when Elisha had prayed, he said, O Lord, open the eyes of this one, so that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the servant, and he saw. And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire, all around Elisha. Then truly, the enemies descended to him. But Elisha prayed to the Lord, saying, Strike, I beg you, this people with blindness. And the Lord struck them, so that they would not see, in accord with the word of Elisha. Then Elisha said to them, This is not the way, and this is not the city. Follow me, and I will reveal to you the man whom you are seeking. Then he led them into Samaria. And when they had entered into Samaria, Elisha said, O Lord, open the eyes of these ones, so that they may see. And the Lord opened their eyes, and they saw themselves to be in the midst of Samaria. And the king of Israel, when he had seen them, said to Elisha, My father, should I not strike them? And he said, You should not strike them. For you did not capture them with your sword or bow, so that you might strike them. Instead, set bread and water before them, so that they may eat and drink, and then go to their lord. And a great preparation of foods was placed before them. And they ate and drank. And he dismissed them. And they went away to their lord. And the robbers of Syria no longer came into the land of Israel. Now it happened that, after these things, Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, gathered together his entire army, and he ascended and was besieging Samaria. And a great famine occurred in Samaria. And it was blockaded for a long time, until the head of a donkey was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and 1/4 part of a pint of pigeon's dung sold for 5 silver coins. And as the king of Israel was passing by the wall, a certain woman cried out to him, saying, Save me, my lord the king. And he said, If the Lord does not save you, how am I able to save you? From the grain floor, or from the wine press? And the king said to her, What is the matter with you? And she responded, This woman said to me, Give your son, so that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. Therefore, we cooked my son, and we ate him. And I said to her on the next day, Give your son, so that we may eat him. But she concealed her son. When the king had heard this, he tore his garments, and he passed along the wall. And all the people saw the haircloth that he had worn underneath, beside his flesh. And the king said, May God do these things to me, and may he add these other things, if the head of Elisha, the son of Shaphat, will remain on him this day. Now Elisha was sitting in his house, and the elders were sitting with him. And so he sent a man ahead. And before that messenger arrived, he said to the elders, Do you not know that this son of a murderer is sending someone to cut off my head? Therefore, watch, and when the messenger arrives, close the door. And you shall not permit him to enter. For behold, the sound of his Lord's feet is behind him. While he was still speaking to them, the messenger appeared who was sent to him. And he said, Behold, such a great evil is from the Lord. What more should I expect from the Lord? Then Elisha said, Listen to the word of the Lord. Thus says the Lord, Tomorrow, at this time, 1 measure of fine wheat flour will be 1 silver coin, and 2 measures of barley will be 1 silver coin, at the gate of Samaria. And one of the leaders, upon whose hand the king leaned, responding to the man of God, said, Even if the Lord will open the floodgates of heaven, how can what you say possibly be? And he said, You will see it with your own eyes, and you will not eat from it. Now there were 4 lepers beside the entrance of the gate. And they said one to another, Should we choose to stay here until we die? If we choose to enter the city, we will die from the famine. And if we remain here, we also will die. Therefore, come and let us flee over to the camp of the Syrians. If they spare us, we will live. But if they choose to kill us, we will die anyway. Therefore, they rose up in the evening, so that they might go to the camp of the Syrians. And when they had arrived at the beginning of the camp of the Syrians, they found no one in that place. For indeed the Lord had caused them to hear, in the camp of Syria, the sound of chariots and horses, and a very numerous army. And they said one to another, Behold, the king of Israel has paid wages to the kings of the Hittites and of the Egyptians against us. And they will overwhelm us. Therefore, they rose up and fled away in the dark. And they left behind their tents and horses and donkeys in the camp. And they fled, desiring to save so much as their own lives. And so, when these lepers had arrived at the beginning of the camp, they entered one tent, and they ate and drank. And they took from their silver, and gold, and clothing. And they went away and hid it. And they returned again to another tent, and similarly, carrying away from there, they hid it. Then they said one to another, We are not doing the right thing. For this is a day of good news. If we remain silent and refuse to report it until morning, we will be charged with a crime. Come, let us go and report it in the court of the king. And when they had arrived at the gate of the city, they explained to them, saying, We went into the camp of the Syrians, and we found no one in that place, except horses and donkeys tied, and the tents still standing. Therefore, the gatekeepers went and reported it in the palace of the king. And he rose up in the night, and he said to his servants, I tell you what the Syrians have done to us. They know that we are suffering from famine, and therefore they have gone out from the camp, and they lie hidden in the fields, saying, When they will have gone out from the city, we will capture them alive, and then we will be able to enter the city. But one of his servants responded, Let us take the 5 horses that remain in the city, for there were no more amid the entire multitude of Israel, since the rest had been consumed, and sending, we will be able to explore. Therefore, they brought 2 horses. And the king sent them into the camp of the Syrians, saying, Go and see. And they went away after them, as far as the Jordan. But behold, the entire way was filled with clothing and vessels, which the Syrians had thrown aside when they were disturbed. And the messengers returned and told the king. And the people, going out, pillaged the camp of the Syrians. And 1 measure of fine wheat flour went for 1 silver coin, and 2 measures of barley went for 1 silver coin, in accord with the word of the Lord. Then the king stationed that leader, on whose hand he leaned, at the gate. And the crowd trampled him at the entrance of the gate. and he died, in accord with what the man of God had said when the king had descended to him. And this happened in accord with the word of the man of God, which he had spoken to the king, when he said, 2 measures of barley will be 1 silver coin, and 1 measure of fine wheat flour will be 1 silver coin, at this same time tomorrow, at the gate of Samaria. Then that leader had responded to the man of God, and he had said, Even if the Lord will open the floodgates of heaven, how can what you say possibly happen? And he said to him, You will see it with your own eyes, and you will not eat from it. Therefore, it happened to him just as it had been predicted. For the people trampled him at the gate, and he died. Hosea 4-7. Listen to the word of the Lord, sons of Israel, for the Lord is judge of the inhabitants of the land. Yet there is no truth, and there is no mercy, and there is no knowledge of God in the land. Slander, and lying, and killing, and theft, and adultery have overflowed, and bloodshed has brought more bloodshed. Because of this, the land will mourn, and all who dwell in it will languish, with the beasts of the field and the birds of the air. And the fishes of the sea also will be gathered together. So, truly, let each and every one not judge, and let no man be accused, for your people are just like those who speak against the priesthood. And you will be ruined on this day, and now the prophet will be ruined with you. In the night, I have made your mother to be silent. My people have become silent because they had no knowledge. Since you have rejected knowledge, I will drive you away. You do not perform the duties of the priesthood for me, and you have forgotten the law of your God, and so I will forget your sons. According to the multitude of them, so have they sinned against me. I will change their glory into disgrace. They will devour the sins of my people, and they will lift up their souls towards their iniquity. And just as it is with the people, so will it be with the priest, and I will visit their ways upon them, and I will repay them for their intentions. And they will eat and not be satisfied. They have been committing fornication, and they did not cease. Since they have abandoned the Lord, they will not be safeguarded. Fornication, and wine, and drunkenness, have taken away their heart. My people have inquired of their stave, and their staff has announced to them. For the spirit of fornication has deceived them, and they have been fornicating before their God. They have offered sacrifice on the tops of the mountains and burnt incense on the hills, under the oak, and the poplar, and the terebinth tree, because its shadow was good. Therefore, your daughters will commit fornication and your spouses will be adulteresses. I will not send afflictions on your daughters, when they will commit fornication, nor on your spouses, when they will commit adultery, because you yourselves have associated with harlots, and have offered sacrifice with the effeminate, and because the people who do not understand will be defeated. If you commit fornication, Israel, at least let Judah not commit offenses, and do not be willing to enter into Gilgal, nor to ascend to Bethaven, and neither should you swear, as the Lord lives. For Israel has gone astray like a wanton heifer, so now the Lord will pasture them like a young lamb in a wide expanse. Ephraim participates in idolatry, so send him away. Their feasting has been set aside, they have committed fornication after fornication. They love to bring disgrace to their protectors. The wind has fastened them to its wings, and they will be confounded because of their sacrifices. Hear this, priests, and pay attention, house of Israel, and listen closely, house of the king. For there is a judgment against you, because you have become a trap for those you watched over, and a net stretched out over Tabor. And you have led astray victims into the depths, though I am the teacher of them all. I know Ephraim, and Israel has not been hidden from me, yet now Ephraim has committed fornication, and Israel has been contaminated. They will not set their thoughts to return to their God, for the spirit of fornication is in the midst of them, and they have not known the Lord. And the arrogance of Israel will answer to his face. And Israel and Ephraim will fall in their iniquity, and even Judah will fall with them. With their flocks and their herds they will go to seek the Lord, and they will not find him. He has taken himself away from them. They have sinned against the Lord. For they have conceived sons that are strangers. Now 1 month will devour them with all their own. Sound the bugle in Gibeah, the trumpet in Ramah. Shout in Bethaven, behind your back, O Benjamin. Ephraim will be in desolation on the day of correction, for within the tribes of Israel, I have revealed faith. The leaders of Judah have become like those who assume the end. I will pour my wrath over them like water. Ephraim has been enduring malicious slander and broken judgment, because he began to go after filth. And I will be like a moth to Ephraim, and like decay to the house of Judah. And Ephraim saw his own weakness, and Judah his chains. And Ephraim went to Assur, and he sent to the avenging king. But he will not be able to heal you, nor is he able to release you from your chains. For I will be like a lioness to Ephraim, and like a lion's offspring to the house of Judah. I myself will seize and go forth. I will take away, and there is no one who can rescue. I will go and return to my place, until you shall grow faint and seek my face. In their tribulation, they will arise early to me. Come, let us return to the Lord. For he has seized us, and he will heal us. He will strike, and he will cure us. He will revive us after 2 days. On the 3rd day he will raise us up, and we will live in his sight. We will understand, and we will continue on, so that we may know the Lord. His landing place has been prepared like the first light of morning, and he will come to us like the early and the late rains of the land. What am I to do with you, Ephraim? What am I to do with you, Judah? Your mercy is like the morning mist, and like the dew passing away in the morning. Because of this, I have cut them with the prophets, I have slain them with the words of my mouth, and your opinions will depart like the light. For I desired mercy and not sacrifice, and knowledge of God more than holocausts. But they, like Adam, have transgressed the covenant. In this, they have been dishonest with me. Gilead is a city that manufactures idols. It has been tripped up by family relations. And like those who rob with skillful words, they, by conspiring with the priests, bring a death sentence to travelers on a pilgrimage from Shechem, for they have been performing evil deeds. I have seen horrible things in the house of Israel. The fornications of Ephraim are there. Israel has been contaminated. But you, Judah, set a harvest for yourself, while I reverse the captivity of my people. When I was willing to heal Israel, the iniquity of Ephraim was discovered, and the malice of Samaria, for they had been manufacturing lies. And the thief steals from inside, the robber from outside. And so that they may not say in their hearts that I am the one who has called to mind all of their wickedness, now their own inventions have encircled them. These things have happened in my presence. The king has rejoiced at their wickedness, and the leaders have rejoiced in their lies. They are all adulterers. Like an oven heating up before baking, the city rested a little before the leaven was mixed in, until the whole was leavened. On the day of our king, the leaders began to be mad with wine. He extended his hand with those who fabricate illusions. For they have used their heart like an oven, while he laid snares for them. He slept through the night baking them, and by morning he himself was heated like a burning fire. They have all become hot like an oven, and they have devoured their judges. All their kings have fallen. There is no one who calls to me among them. Ephraim himself has been mingled with the nations. Ephraim has become like bread, baked under ashes, that has not been turned over. Strangers have devoured his strength, and he did not know it. And gray hairs also have spread across him, and he is ignorant of it. And the pride of Israel will be brought low before his face, for they have not returned to the Lord their God, nor have they sought him in all of this. And Ephraim has become like a pigeon that has been led astray, not having a heart, for they called upon Egypt, they went to the Assyrians. And when they will set out, I will spread my net over them. I will pull them down like the birds of the sky. I will cut them down in accordance with the reports of their meetings. Woe to them, for they have withdrawn from me. They will waste away because they have been dishonest with me. And I redeemed them, and they have spoken lies against me. And they have not cried out to me in their heart, but they howled on their beds. They have obsessed about wheat and wine, they have withdrawn from me. And I have educated them, and I have reinforced their arms, and they have imagined evil against me. They returned so that they might be without a yoke. They have become like a deceitful bow. Their leaders will fall by the sword because of the madness of their words. This is their derision in the land of Egypt. Psalm 102. To David himself. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and bless his holy name, all that is within me. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and do not forget all his recompenses. He forgives all your iniquities. He heals all your infirmities. He redeems your life from destruction. He crowns you with mercy and compassion. He satisfies your desire with good things. Your youth will be renewed like that of the eagle. The Lord accomplishes mercies, and his judgment is for all who patiently endure injuries. He has made his ways known to Moses, his will to the sons of Israel. The Lord is compassionate and merciful, patient and full of mercy. He will not be angry forever, and he will not threaten for eternity. He has not dealt with us according to our sins, and he has not repaid us according to our iniquities. For according to the height of the heavens above the earth, so has he reinforced his mercy toward those who fear him. As far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our iniquities from us. As a father is compassionate to his sons, so has the Lord been compassionate to those who fear him. For he knows our form. He has called to mind that we are dust. Man, his days are like hay. Like the flower of the field, so will he flourish. For the spirit in him will pass away, and it will not remain, and he will know his place no longer. But the mercy of the Lord is from eternity, and even unto eternity, upon those who fear him. And his justice is with the sons of the sons, with those who serve his covenant and have been mindful of his commandments by doing them. The Lord has prepared his throne in heaven, and his kingdom will rule over all. Bless the Lord, all you his angels, powerful in virtue, doing his word, in order to heed the voice of his discourse. Bless the Lord, all his hosts, his ministers who do his will. Bless the Lord, all his works, in every place of his dominion. Bless the Lord, O my soul.